This. This is tonight. It's crooked. There it is. I can't do it. I can't do it. It's not working. That's all right. Hey everyone, what's up? I rarely drink on here anymore, but it's a bunch of birthdays right now. It's my son's birthday. Our guest's birthday was recently. My birthday's coming up. It's a good month. August is a good month. So, cheers to August and anybody's birthday that's this month. And don't judge me for Michelob Ultra. She bought it. Hey, a lot of people in right away. Awesome. Andrew, again. Love seeing you, man. Text me later. I have something to tell you, by the way. I'm pretty stoked about a hockey episode. If anyone knows me, I love hockey. I love Pittsburgh hockey. Love anything 90s. So kind of a cool mix tonight. I'm really stoked that Pittsburgh's been really good to me with this whole thing. And I'm in a really good mood. Really good mood. I'm also trying to pull something off later that might work. We're gonna test it. I'm always trying to do new shit on here. I love seeing you guys pop in right away. This is awesome. I love seeing people come in that I don't know. That feels really good. It feels like, hey, maybe there's just something on here that people want to see, want to watch. Pittsburgh Club Erotica. I am right back in 2007, 8-ish. You were a regular spot. Really cool. I actually went to Club Erotica on my wedding night with my wife. I'm sure she does not need anybody to know that, but it's the truth, and it was really cool. It lasted about 20 minutes, and we decided to get the hell out of there. But that was not on you, that was on us. But yeah, that was pretty funny. Brig is in. Oh man, what a good night. Brig, you're a hockey guy too. This will be great. This is a good time. So yeah, a couple minutes. I see our dude's already here, but I like giving you guys some time to get in, hang out and chat about whatever beforehand. Let people kind of flow in here. Remember that I'm doing this, or see that I'm live. You know, I like to get on a little early. So, and again, there's my dude, J Bone. Again, this is for all you August kids, all the August people, I should say, guys, girls, the like. Good month, man. Good month, good day. My little one turned 3. He asked for cake and pizza. Turns out he's not the mailman's kid. He must be mine. So it was chocolate cake and Fiore's. If you're from Pittsburgh, you know Fiore's. Actually, if you're from here, you know Fiore's. And also, if you're not here and have been here, you know Fiore's. Josh, I pray I took you to Fiore's. I swear I did. If I didn't, I'm letting you down as a friend. I really am. Yeah, 90s kids are running the game. 90s kids are now 40 years old, you know. We are what's going on right now. I love seeing people my age exploding, doing cool things. Shout out to Nick over at Hunting Nostalgia who just got on. So I have to do this backwards. Right. Talk Pittsburgh. So another thing what I'm doing right now is I want to get on this show, damn it. I keep blasting these 2 Instagrams and the Facebook. So if you have a second, go to these 2 Instagrams and this Facebook and tell them to put my face on that show. 3 of my guests have been on that show. 3 more guests who've already said yes to me have been on that show. It's time to get the Pittsburgh guy in, you know? Get me on there. I'll wear my cool hat. I don't have it right this second, but I'll wear my cool hat. I'll wear my cool bandana too. I'll look really good on TV. I'll trim this into one of those like Disney stashes where it's just this tiny little line and a little goat. It'll be perfect. It'll look so good. You need me on that show. I'll be so much fun. I'll make it fun and weird at the same time. And maybe I'll dance. I don't know. Whatever I got to do to get on that show. I will not Josh like Dance Boy Josh here dances for bits. I'll actually need dollar bills. Shout out to Club Erotica again. Me and Josh dances for pennies. I'm not doing pennies. I'm doing 5s and 10s and up. Sorry, Josh. I had to put you on Front Street. All right, I think we waited long enough. If I sit here anymore talking about strip clubs and beer, our dude might leave. So I'm going to get this started here. This thing working. Always the dead air. I love editing this part of the audio too afterwards. Hey,
Hey, what's up?
what's going on? Let me readjust my camera here. I'm trying a new setup. I had all this hockey stuff behind me, and as soon as I put a chair down, it kind of blocks everything. I was so excited to show this stuff, but it's not worth me turning around the whole time. Anyway, welcome. What's up, man?
Not much. Just enjoying. I'm actually on vacation. I'm in beautiful Nova Scotia, so I'm back visiting family, and finally got a break and got back and enjoying some good Canadian beer and
Nice.
Canadian wine, actually.
One of the questions: how often do you go back to Nova Scotia?
I try to get back as much as I can. I'm from Halifax, so I get back as often as I can, but not enough as much as I want. I get back once a year and more often now that our parents are getting older and all that fun stuff. So it's try to get back more often. But at one time, my season was over. I used to come back for the whole summer and spend time
Cool.
like a lot of guys do. And then being in Chicago, my seasons are going longer, it seems, and there's more going on. The kids are growing up there, so we all try to get back. We all try to get back here for at least a week to visit family.
Awesome. So before we get too deep in, can you tell everybody who the hell are you?
I'm Wendell Young. Used to play for the Penguins back in the late '80s, early '90s, in their early heyday. Not now that the Crosby era has more rings than us, which is kind of funny. I remember the first time, and Sydney's from Halifax area also, and I remember being at a function with him, and I had my 2 Stanley Cups, and he only had 1 at the time, and his 1 ring was twice the size of my 2. So that tells you times have changed.
Yeah, I did get to put one on once, and it was I was a little blown away. It would have been probably the second, that back-to-back. I got to wear one through a function, but I was like, wow, this is way bigger than you'd ever imagine.
And that's actually a small one. It was big at the time when we got it. It was hard to wear because it was so big. And now the new ones they're literally probably 3 times and 4 times the size of that.
Yeah. So if Wikipedia is right, happy belated birthday.
Thank you. Turn the big 60 on
Nice.
August 1st, another August baby. Yeah. So,
Yep.
60. I didn't think I knew anybody that was 60. Last year I had to go to a surprise party for a friend that was 60, and I go, I don't know anybody that's 60. So yeah, time flies, and when people say, hey, it's 30-year reunion for winning a cup or something, I'm like, what cup? I don't even remember. It's not 30 years now, but it just tells you time goes fast.
I'm almost exactly 20 years younger, and I still get that now because everybody's going, the retro 90s. And I was born in 83. I'm like, no, that was grade school and high school 90s, I think you mean. But people wearing like big pants, and like I could find the old ball chain necklace in a store.
Yeah.
I'm like, that was something I had to buy at Gadzooks, a store that's been gone. Or the big pants and all these fashions are coming back. Finding like Smashing Pumpkins T-shirts at Target. Exactly. I'm like, okay, now I get that vibe of like I'm the next generation up. I'm going, when I was younger, you had to go to a CD store to get a CD that you wanted, or a T-shirt of a band you liked, or cool clothes. Like, you guys have it easy going on Amazon. I have to stop myself and pull back and then buy my kid a Smashing Pumpkins T-shirt. So
it's funny. I was at a we were affiliated Chicago Wolves, which I'm working for. We were affiliated with the Las Vegas team, and there was a guy that spoke to the young guys, and it was about he was actually Secretary of the Interior, appointed by Donald Trump, and he spoke about it was a bunch of young guys that are trying to get to the NHL, and he goes, it's going to take time, but you guys are a generation of instant. You want food, you got Uber Eats. You got a question, you Google. You need if you want to go somewhere, you just Uber. Everything is at this moment, but some things take time, and be in the wine business, you got to let your wine, kind of the best comes then, and that's what I try to tell people, like, be patient. But we're a generation of, and you and I are both guilty of the same thing, where it's instant, and we want to do this. We usually have to be, back in the day, you have to be in the studio to do this, and then we can do this, thousands of miles apart.
That's what blew my mind about this. I have no background in journalism, no background in any kind of, no business, nothing. It's just, I'm okay with a phone, and that was really it. I think she bought this ring light to take pictures of whatever, and it ended up getting pushed to the corner of the room, and I'm like, I just want to talk. I used to be on stage a lot. I miss it. I'm like, come talk to people. And actually, Kenny Reggett was one of the first people that said yes and kind of helped me get started because we did some work, professionally. And I'm like, I kind of want to do this thing. I had a couple friends on, but I just need like one good name to make it so it's not just a guy hanging out talking to his friends on the internet.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, sign me up. I'm like, yes. And it was awesome. I've gone back and, talked with him and Nicole about a bunch of things and did some other work for him and stuff. But
He's
yeah,
one of the
Pittsburgh
best.
Penguins are good to me, man. Pittsburgh and the Penguins are good to me.
Good. Yeah. You know what? Kenny Reggett's one of the best guys I played with. He's unbelievable. I stay in contact with him, and he'll do anything for anybody. And we got along so well. Being goalie partners, we got along so well. And it's like, he'd need to smoke breaks in between periods. I don't smoke, and I would go and just hang with him, laugh about stuff, and he was unbelievable. Like, and he's a big supporter of all his teammates. To this day, he pushes for guys, and he does a great job. And I've been on his podcast and had a lot of fun, had a lot of laughs with the stories and stuff. And it's like anything. Most of us, when we get together, almost I would say 95% of the stories are about stuff that happened off ice or something stupid. It's not about a big play or a big goal. It's all like things we start giggling about and laughing, or stupid things we did on the ice, but not the big goal that was scored or the big save. For the most part, it's all about somebody did something stupid.
That's what we were hoping. This, as me being an outsider, that's what we're hoping is going on. Like we get to see all that stuff. We get to see all the replays and all the highlights and stuff, but we don't get to see. My buddy just said smoke breaks. I started smiling when you said that. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. It was like very common, right? That was just par for the course, stuff like that. Yeah.
When I started, so again, we're going back to when I played, but my first time, I was 17. I got drafted by Vancouver, and I'm going to play in an exhibition game against the LA Kings, and I'm going to play the second half. So after the first period, I went in the hallway to stretch, and there's half of our team and half the LA Kings out there, but they're sitting in chairs with their legs crossed smoking. And then I got to get to the NHL, and old Boston Gardens was still there. The old one, Montreal Forum was still there. And we went around, and there was ashtrays in every stall because everyone smoked. And it was still there were still guys smoking around. And I remember I think maybe my second training camp, we had a couple guys come over. Ivan Olenka, which is, I think, is in the Hockey Hall of Fame now. Yuri Bubla, they broke out of Czechoslovakia, and we're over here. We're in training camp, and we've got 2 sessions a day. We go for lunch. They have like 6 Heinekens and about 10 cigarettes, and we go back on the ice. And I'm like, what's going on here? And it's like now it's like, they'll have 10 protein shakes and massage, and that's it. They're on their way.
Yeah. All the cool stuff's gone. Yeah.
I think a lot of the camaraderie is gone. A lot of having fun, just hanging out, and and again, it's a generation, and there's cell phone cameras and everything's recorded, and I think it's a lot different now. And again, there's many millions to be made in the game, and everyone wants to do whatever they can to achieve that. We weren't making enough, didn't realize we'd lose that much.
Yeah, right. My buddy just asked your opinion on Steve Yzerman, one of his favorites, I guess.
One of the best. I describe Steve Yzerman. He could pass as well on his backhand as his forehand. And I played against Stevie in junior hockey. And actually, Bob Berry was one of his line mates. But he could pass. He could pass as well on his backhand as his forehand. And, he scored many goals on me. Not that a lot of guys scored a lot of goals on me, but Stevie had my number. And he just had that. And he's a great guy. And that's the greatest thing about it. He's just a nice guy that, played the game and was really skilled. And, I put him in the top group of echelon of guys that played in the NHL.
Yeah, for sure. Could you walk us through your time in the NHL? Man, I didn't realize how many cool either firsts or onlys you have. You have a lot of cool little things on your sheet, and I see you shaking it off, but man, having a first or having an only in like NHL history or hockey in general is pretty awesome. So how about you just take us through like your timeline, and then I'll just embarrass you with these stats.
I got drafted by Vancouver. I was in the organization for 4 years. And then I got traded to the Flyers for 1 year, and I was up and down with the nasty Flyers. I was up and down from with Philadelphia and then Hershey. I ended up winning a Calder Cup with Hershey. I was very fortunate the 1 year I was there, and then I got traded to Pittsburgh, where I played for the next 4 years. And on from there, I went to Tampa in expansion. After 2 years in expansion, there's an NHL lockout. I ended up down in Chicago with first year of the Chicago Wolves, which I'm general manager of now. And after the lockout was over, I got traded back to Pittsburgh. So I actually spent 5 seasons in Pittsburgh, and I was going to retire after that, become part of management in Tampa. And the team I manage now, the Chicago Wolves in the American League, offered me a 3-year deal to keep playing. And 6 years later, I was playing, and I finally retired. It was time, and go from there. And I ended there's a story of me ending how I ended up in Pittsburgh. There was a coach in Baltimore, Gino Baracco, and we were in Hershey. His team was bad. We beat his team every time. And I had a good season in the American League. It was like we won the championship, didn't lose the game in the playoffs. I got MVP in the playoffs, blah, blah, blah. So fast forward, Tony Esposito becomes GM in Pittsburgh. Gino Baracco comes in as coach. A couple Italian guys from Sault Ste. Marie, Canada. Tony Esposito says, we got to get a goalie. So Gino Baracco goes, he says, why don't you go get Wendell Young? Tony's first words were, who the fuck is Wendell Young? So he goes, well, he did this, and this. He goes, and Tony goes, okay, I'm going to trade for him. And that's how I ended up in Pittsburgh because of Gino Baracco. And I didn't know Gene personally. I knew him from coaching against him. I didn't know him personally. And he got me there. Ironically enough, Phil and Tony Esposito take over Tampa. Gene's a part of management. I go there. And then to finish the story over, Gino Baracco ends up the first head coach for the Chicago Wolves, assistant GM. He knew there was a lockout. He calls Phil and Tony Esposito, says, I need a goalie, send me Wendell. That's my career basically through Gino Baracco. I call him my godfather to this day.
Yeah, right. And 91, 92, you're there for both cups then, right, in Pittsburgh?
Very lucky to be around. And I've been fortunate. I've been on championship teams. I would say I should be buying a lottery ticket. I seem like I'm in the right place at the right time, and just so fortunate to be on teams that are really good. Some teams I contributed playing goal, and I think some teams I contributed helping, being a good team guy around and trying to bring the team together. And to this day, I try to bring players around that are gatherers. That there's not 2 or 3 guys going for lunch. I try to get the guys in the dressing room that, hey, we're all going for lunch, and I want gatherers. And I thought I was one of those when I played. So but it was unbelievable. Somebody pointed out way after the fact, you don't realize because you're kind of in the moment, and it's just guys that you played with, and they're all they're, even though they're better skilled, they're same as you type thing. But then somebody said, you know how many Hall of Famers you played with in Pittsburgh? And I started thinking, okay, I got you, and there's going to be Auger, and then you just go Ronnie Francis, then Paul Coffey, Larry Murphy, now Tom Barrasso coming up, Mark Recchi, Joey Mullen, and you start. It's like, holy God, and we played all together in a short period of time. And I'm like, and you don't think about it until after the fact. And so fortunate to be a part of all this. And I don't forget how fortunate I am. But I think I tried to explain this the other day to somebody. I go, I was probably better than most people in my province, and maybe a little better than most people in Canada. But in the big picture in the NHL, I wasn't. I was just trying to be the best team guy and work as hard as I could and have as much fun as I could too.
It looked like the year before those Cups, 89-90 was your most games played. Do you remember do you remember why? Was that
Tom Barrasso was injured a bit, and then he had his daughter had a neuroblastoma cancer. So he had to leave the team, and I became the number 1 goal. That's where I came in at that time to have a chance to play a lot of games. And Tommy and I were roommates and everything for a long time. Back in the day when guys actually had roommates on the road, and I was his roommate, and I was a friend of his, and his goalie partner, and I think we supported each other off and on and off the ice. And but I was fortunate enough to play a bunch of games and see how things went. Some sometimes it's injuries or whatever that give you a chance.
Yeah, and I see. What does the word ringmaster mean to you?
It's kind of embarrassing, actually. That's like somebody said, "Oh, you're this," and I said, "Where are you getting that from?" Well, it's on the internet. And I'm like, "What?" So someone coined it, and it's been out there, and I get it, and I get teased about it all the time. And I've been fortunate to be on, again, like I said earlier, like a phenomenal. It's not even fair sometimes, because I think about all these great hockey players that never had a chance to play on a Stanley Cup or win a championship. But I've been fortunate enough through my whole career to, like, from junior hockey to American Hockey League to the International League to the NHL. I've been fortunate enough to be on a championship teams, and just being around them is awesome.
Settings here as we're talking. Through one way or another, there was this gentleman with us here won Turner Cup, Memorial Cup, Calder Cup, Stanley Cup, and then there's like an asterisk next to Robertson.
Oh, that's
I saw that one.
Championship, I think, for Ontario League, the championship in Ontario. Yeah, that's with the Memorial Cup. There's 3 different leagues: the Quebec League, the Ontario League, and the Western League. And you got to win your league there, and then you go to a tournament and see who wins that. And so we won the Robinson Cup, which is in Ontario, which is a big thing because it's again, Stevie Eisman played on teams and stuff like that. So we were fortunate enough to win our league and then go on to win the Memorial Cup, which is a pretty awesome feat. And it's actually maybe one of the hardest to win because you're limited by age, because you're a 20-year-old and you're done. So you got 3 years. Most people have 3 years. Some have 4 at the most to try to win a Memorial Cup. So not only do you have to win your league, be fortunate enough to win your league, then you got to go against the top teams in the other leagues to get the championship. So it's a different, I think it's really tough to win a Memorial Cup. Like, a lot of people win other championships, but it's tough to win a Memorial Cup.
Especially with that list, to have it on that list too. And is it true that the 1991 Penguins were the first team to go visit the White House after the championship?
I didn't know we were the first.
That's what I read, and it's also the internet. Who knows what's true or not? But that one stood out.
I thought it was really, really cool to be invited there. I thought it was really cool to see the White House, and the security was so lax. We just kind of walked through a metal detector, and you were in. And I had a buddy on the team, on Eddie, that I played with. He was one of my good buddies. We lived by each other, and we actually went to Tampa in expansion together. And they're doing a tour of the White House. We decided to have our own tour. We took a couple side steps, went in a couple of rooms that we were probably not supposed to be in, but just walked down some hallways by ourselves and looked around and did what we did, and came back and joined the group, and no one even noticed. There was no security cameras in that area, and you know what I mean. It's just, we're again, times have changed, but it was pretty cool to be able to go to the White House and be invited there, and we got our picture on the with George Bush, and it was so cool to be invited there, and just to be a part of that and see it, and and again, the season's over, and then we all got back together after winning it. So it was pretty cool, everyone coming back together. I think a few of the guys were pretty hungover. I won't say I was, but I was part of the group.
That's cool. Yeah, it sounds like just a different world back then. Just walking in, we're just gonna take this detour. We'll be back in a little bit. Don't worry about it.
Think about that now. You wouldn't even come close to that now.
Yeah, geez. So how about let's talk about the Wolves. Player, coach, then GM.
Yeah, I'm the guest that never leaves. I went there in 94, 95, lockout year, going to retire after when I get traded back to Pittsburgh, and I ended up going there, and then I played, like I said, 6 more years, went into coaching, and I think I'm going in my 15th year of being GM. Kevin Shoveldayoff, the GM of the Winnipeg Jets, was the GM, and so when he left, I got offered the job, and I just went and sat in his desk, and everyone thought I had the job, I think. And the organization's unbelievable. The owner's unbelievable. I get treated so well, and it's the city of Chicago. It's like a great city.
We've been there a few times. We love taking the kids around. She didn't travel when she was younger. I was a military brat. Put those two together, every summer we're going somewhere.
Yeah.
And with 2 young ones, that means there has to be a beach, there has to be some resort or all-inclusive or whatever. We couldn't get enough of Chicago. We went when we were dating. We went back after the first one was born. We went back right when the second one was born. Now I have to flip to the other page of notes because there was a whole bunch of Chicago shit. I was like, I loved it up there, man. Chicago dogs is still like my favorite. I'm a Polak, so hot dogs, sausage. It's hot dogs all the time. And we had one on the streets. I think she knew that I was a foodie. She's not as much. You have to have a Chicago dog. I'm like, I love hot dogs. It's going to be a hot dog. She's like, nah, I think you should probably try a Chicago dog. like right on the street near the lake, and I'm like, I get it.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
I get it.
100%. No ketchup. And no ketchup because they think all the condiments that are already on it with all the relish and the peppers and the tomatoes and everything that you don't need ketchup. It's like frowned upon. But yeah, the food, and that's the whole thing about Chicago. Like the food is phenomenal. Like it's crazy how good the food is there. Concerts, like sporting events, theater, whatever you want. Like if you're bored in Chicago, it's your fault. You're being lazy. That's simple put, because there's so much going on there. And like I said, my kids have all grown up there. They're all still in Chicago and loving it.
We went the first time, and we went for a concert in the Loop at, is it House of Blues, I think. So we had to do the concert, we stayed in the Loop, and we went to Illuminati's. We're like, check, check, check. Okay, the big three that everybody said to do. But then I got shit when I got back from people who lived there at one point, and they're like, why didn't you go to Pequod's for pizza? I'm like, I don't know. Like I went because I went where someone told me to go, and I've heard of it a bunch, and I've seen it on a Food Network show. So we go back again when the firstborn was younger. Like, okay, now we go to Pequod's, and I loved it because we were like walking in, and someone was coming out, and they reeked of booze, and we're like, pizza place or not? And then I see like a whale with panties. Another guy comes out stinking, like stumbling out. I'm like, okay, this is a little more Pittsburgh for me. Like the drunken eating is making a lot of sense. And we went in and had like whiskey and that burnt edge pizza. I'm like, this beats Illuminati's for me. I get back and someone goes, why didn't you go to Uno? And I'm like, guys, I know there's a lot of pizza places. I get that there's a lot of food. I'm just checking stuff off the box. So do you have a favorite pizza in Chicago?
Actually, it's Malnati's, ironically enough, the deep dish, and you get a butter. It's called a butter crust, and you can tell them that they actually ask on the app, or if you called, you want it in 5 more minutes extra, so it's extra crispy and everything. It's unbelievable. But Pequod's is unreal too. They have 2 locations, and it's unbelievable. It's so good. People come in, and if they're in long enough, they'll do Pequod's and Lou Malnati's with me. So and they do request Pequod's. Like, we got to hit Pequod's all the time. Yeah, it's again, it's a foodie city. It's fun, and again, like you said, there's so many different ethnic sections in Chicago, and it's an embrace. Like everyone goes into whatever Ukrainian food, whatever you want, you're going to get it, and there's so many good restaurants, and again, the bars in Pittsburgh there's a bunch of them in Chicago too. That little corner bars, and there's like a small little 12-inch window that you can't even see in, and you go in and have fun.
Yeah, it just has a neon sign in it anyway. Yeah, you can't see out. It's like a casino. Yeah. So those are the best. Yeah. Someone asked, how are the gyros in Chicago? Do you have a favorite gyro spot?
No, I don't. It's funny because I'm from the East Coast, and we have something called a donair up here, and it's the same thing, but the sauce is different. It's a sweet sauce instead of, kind of the pickled sake sauce. It's a sweet sauce, and so I don't really. I have them, but I don't really have a spot to go to.
We did just naturally. We ended up like directly across, like on the beach. From RJ Grunt's. Did you ever go to RJ Grunt's?
Yeah.
It was a cool spot. I love the old stuff, like the panel, the big wooden tables and stuff. So someone suggested that. I was busy staring at the menu the whole time. I was like an old graphics guy, an old artist.
Yeah.
I was just like hand drawn, and it's like sticky laminate menus and like fake wood. I'm like, I'm home. This is I felt right at home.
You can run the gamut. You can run the nicest restaurants in the world, like Alinea. Was the #1 rated restaurant in the world at one time, or you can go to all the dive places, and some of those dive places have the best food. Nice greasy burger, the pizza. And Chicago pizza, actually, like everyone talks about the thick, the pan. Actually, the true tavern, there's a tavern pizza here that's actually what older people have all grown up in, and it's super paper thin and crispy, and that's actually what a lot of people in Chicago have grown up on, and it's unbelievable. It's not like a crispy, almost like a wafer bottom, and it's really, really good. So it's called the tavern pizza, and all the true taverns, that's the pizza they serve.
I might have to try that. I spent my childhood in New York, so my pizza's fat and flat. There's places here, obviously places anywhere to find it, but that's why we did Illuminati's, and plus there's so much there. I think we had I might have had 2 pieces, she might have had 1. It was in like a to-go box the whole drive home. Even that we'd like lean over, take a bite, and it's still so rich and so heavy. You're like a bite or two, you're like, Yeah, I don't need a whole piece. I can just have a
Yeah,
bite every few minutes and be totally fine.
it's
Um,
awesome.
but yeah, the wafer piece. There's a couple places around here that have like that ultra thin, like crispy, like you said, crackery. I'm like,
Yeah,
I like it like thinner, but yeah, I can't have like the crunchy. I'll do like the big soggy.
yeah.
You have to fold it and it's greasy and
New York, New York fold. I
oh yeah,
love.
yeah.
Like I could eat pizza every day. Like I went to Italy last year and I made it a purpose every day. I had pizza at a different spot, just out of Naples. We had different. I had pizza every day for lunch at a different spot, and I figured out there's no bad pizza, no bad wine in Italy. I figured that out.
And someone said since it's not so gluteny, if that's a word, that it's actually way easier to eat a bunch and not feel super weighed down. Did you feel like that?
Like it was like we had lunch and we were good to go, and like it wasn't like yeah, it's crazy. But it was so good. Like the Yeah, I get it why there's something they know how to do it. Italians know how to make pizza.
Fucking Americans, man. Gotta ruin the food. Yeah. So I did see some people. There's like a question area here, and some people dropped some
Yep.
questions in. A friend of mine was actually a goalie, and he had some. He says all goalies have weird stuff they did. Did you have a ritual or some superstition you did before every game?
I didn't have a lot, and a lot of guys say it's superstition, but I think it's just you have a routine more than anything. And I tried not to let superstitions uh, affect my game, I guess. I like being the last guy off the ice, and I think that was just a habit of like tapping everyone in good period or whatever. I did that all the time, whether I was playing or not playing. I hated seeing 13 on the clock. If I looked up and it was the 13 minute or it's 13 seconds, like it kind of like, oh God, something bad's gonna happen. You play little mind games, and if I can get down to zero from 13 seconds down to zero, I'm gonna be okay. You play little things. I probably got scored on from the 12-second mark in every down. It's probably always like 9:07.
Yeah.
It was not or 7 like whatever. But yeah, that was. But I didn't have a lot. I always told people I'm not. I knew I was messed up, but I don't think I was like a regular goalie. I didn't have all the quirks. You couldn't touch my equipment, and you couldn't do this. You can't talk to me on game day, and all these things. I never had that. Like I just wanted to go out and play and do the best I could.
I got into the Penguins locker room and like kind of like a rest area. I won't share how. It was legal, but we went through the hallway of sticks pretty much, right before the ice. And our guy that was kind of taking us around just went, and okay, and don't touch the sticks. So we're all like, yeah, of course. And we're all looking and getting close, and he got real serious. Don't touch the sticks. Someone picked up Phil Kessel's stick, and he will never let anyone in the Penguins organization let it down. That someone who was not a player, or anyone should say, someone touched his stick. He had the worst game of his life, he said. Then he found out someone touched it. So everyone in the organization, all right, maybe there's some validity. He didn't know anyone touched it. He said, what the fuck, this game is... And someone told, well, someone was messing with your sticks before the game. So, like, the superstition becomes like a supernatural even. Or like he had a horrible game and someone touched his shit.
And it becomes an obsession. And like, if guys had something to eat, a certain thing they ate, or they did something, or whatever, and it's just, and they had a good game that, well, they got to do it, and they could have 5 more bad games after it, but they had a good game and it still worked, but they can't change their routine. And I like I said, I don't know if there's so many that superstitions, or it's a routine, and something works and you just want to stick with it. And we're always trying to find what works best for us. Like that's why we practice every day. That's why we work out. We're trying to find what works best.
I've always heard that the newer guys have, especially Sid, apparently. I don't know the details, but the superstitions are apparently through the roof. Like they're a little insane.
Watch the guys when they somebody plays their whatever 1,000 game and they do their stretch, like they mock like Malkin, and everyone did their like the stretches, because they have to do it that way, like, and they like, because they are so what goes on with a lot of these athletes, especially today, they are so regimented and they are so focused and regimented. Anything that's kind of thrown against them kind of messes them up, because they want to eat at the same time, they want to sleep at the same time, everything's got to be the same meal, blah blah blah. And anything that's not that way, it plays mind games with them, because they're so focused on the game and they're so regimented. It's tough on them. Like I feel bad for them, because I was like, yeah, okay, I'd go home and I used to throw some spaghetti in a pot and have some butter and parm. And, if my kids were younger, they'd take a nap, have a nap with me. I was like, okay, well, I'm heading to the game. And I'm not saying that was my, get to the rink, you start getting that focus and you do this and do that. And you have your little routines, but superstitious, not big on that.
And I wondered, since these guys are so in their own heads, if it was more like, well, that's one less thing I have to think about. If I have the same meal at the same time, that is out of my brain. Because I have a little bit of OCD, but I'm also not an athlete, so I can't marry the two. But I'm like, if it's me, and it makes perfect sense, routines, but I'm like, well, yeah, I've heard that like Gino and Sid, it's like clockwork to the second. This stretch, this stretch, this stretch, off the ice, this order, everything. I'm like, is it because they want to think about the game so much, or they don't think about the gear anymore? They don't think about the food anymore. They don't think about the stretches anymore. It's just opening up all this room for like their play or the team they're playing against or what have you. But that's where my mind always went.
And a part of it is a part of them getting ready to focus. They're starting to focus. So, okay, my head's in the game right now before the game because I'm stretching the same way. So now I'm getting methodical. I'm starting to get ready. This is my warm up. This is more even more like a physical stretch, but it's part of a mental stretch also. Like they're getting ready for the game through this whole process. Their mental part is getting involved here.
Trying to recalibrate this again. So here's a cool topic. I got some kind of obsession with the 90s helmets. So I love how incredible the ones nowadays look. Like you see all these crazy airbrushing and like there's gold foil and there's minute details, the front, the back, the sides, everything. But then you look at like sometimes less is more, like just some old shapes, like just like these, I nicknamed them shark fins in my head. Like just like there's nothing that crazy. And like these devil horns up here, which actually looks like Robin, or I think it's Nightwing.
Good point.
But it's so simple, but they look so cool on like, I was always a sports card guy. And then just like flipping a card over and be like, man, that helmet looks cool. Oh man. Especially like, I mean, in Kenny's.
The Regs one with the Joker on it and stuff, right? Like how cool is that? Like seriously, I knew what you're gonna pull.
Yeah,
because the Regs is cool.
And even like it's dated, like all the triangles and the multi-cut. It's dated, but it's still, oh my god, it works so well still.
These guys that now work so hard on what their creation is going to be. I literally never designed my mask. I would say just put something on it. And I'm good. It was my equipment was the same way. Like I was one of the last people to wear brown colored equipment. Like I
oh man, and that stuff is
I remember it was like 91. I think I might have still had brown equipment, and one of the other goalies came around like, Wendell, get in the 90s. And I'm like, no, I'm good. And Sevy Lattin used to be the equipment guy for Pittsburgh for years and years. And to this day, he's still one of my best friends. And he ordered me white equipment. He goes, you got to get out of this brown stuff. And it was the same thing. And he would change things for me because he goes, you won't change. And I used the same shoulder pads so I played 18 years of pro hockey, 3 years of junior. I used 3 different sets of shoulder pads and chest protector because I hated new equipment. I hate breaking in stuff. Like I was the easiest guy for the equipment guy because I was so low. I didn't like I hated like some guys these days they'll have 15 sets of pads a year, and I'm like, no, I am not that way. And my equipment, just whatever the guy wants to put on it, I'm good. Like I didn't really put anything into it. I didn't like for me. I would have wore brown colored pads, and a white helmet. I would have been fine.
And brown pads are like the shit now. People are, I mean, they're like playing Winter Classics and like a brand new set is brown.
You're talking about the retro, like earlier in the show. It's retro.
Yeah, exactly. And I couldn't get enough of Tommy's too. Plain and simple. Yep. That's all needed. And I played a little bit of hockey in college, so my shit was always beat up because I wasn't buying new equipment. I wasn't getting sponsored. It wasn't 15 a year for sure, but I do have the little tiny penguin in there. But it's that they call it a Robo Penguin now. I don't know if you ever heard that, but Robo Pen is the nickname for that triangle penguin.
Oh, is it?
So if you would Google like Robo Penguin logo, it'll bring up the 90s logo. Cool. And I got shit for this for years from like hockey buddies, like get with the, that that's new, that was like this era, but they won the cup with this logo. That's on the shoulder. I'm like, all this stuff. I'm like, this is the one I love. I love this one. Then the gradient jersey
Yep.
is voted like the best worst jersey of all time. There's one in the other room. Like I'm like that era was the designs, all the art and stuff was just so cool. I am gonna rifle through a lightning round with you, and then we're gonna try something new for my podcast, and we'll see if it works. Spend as much or as little time on these answers as you want. Chips Ahoy or Oreo?
Oreo.
What's your favorite candy?
Any Canadian chocolate. It's so much more milkier. It has a higher fat content. Literally, I'm in Canada. I will come back with pounds and pounds of Canadian chocolate. It does have a higher fat content, which makes it better. It's any Canadian chocolate. I'm a chocolate freak.
It's chocolate. I'm not gonna have a diet chocolate. Yeah, I'm okay with the fat content. How do you order your pizza? Let's say Illuminati's aside. If you were ordering a pizza from anywhere, how do you take it?
Actually, you know what? I'm all over the map. I will have I had a prosciutto and arugula the other day.
Man.
Then sometimes I'll just go plain cheese, and then I make some pizzas at home too, and I'll do a smoked salmon with capers and cream cheese. I'm my pizza. Like I said, I'll eat pizza every day. I'm all over the map. I do actually. Like I said, I cook pizza. I do a French onion soup one. It's unbelievable. You caramelize the onions before, it's So it's like I'm like, but if I was just out, whatever is a little different, probably on the menu is what I'm going to order in pizza.
Cool.
I got to try. I got to try.
And that's easy in Pittsburgh anymore. There's so many pizza shops. You can get the weirdest, coolest stuff.
The one in
Mignio's is classic. Yeah. I'm a big Fiore's guy. I had Fiore's today. I brainwashed the 2-year-old so that he turned 3. He asked for Fiore's today. But there's Ironborn is something. When you come back, Ironborn is like you're saying. It's a little different. We had a hot honey arugula garlic. Sounds right. Sorry to anyone who knows exactly what I'm talking about, and I'm not fucking it up. But it was something like that, and I'm telling her like, just give me pepperoni. Like, I don't need anything. It's already like an odd shaped, super thick, doughy. I'm like, it's not a New York pizza. Just give me whatever. And she brings that home, and I'm like, I'll try it. And it was so good.
Yeah, I know. I've had pizzas where I'm like, I'm not so sure I'm gonna like this, and then you have it. It's like, oh my god, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Favorite Christmas movie?
Probably Elf. Yeah, I would say Elf.
The new classic. Yeah. Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Trek.
First movie in a theater.
Oh God. Geez, that's. We didn't have enough money to go to the theater, so I grew up on the rough side of town. I can't even tell you what. I kind of don't know. Might have been Shawshank Redemption, maybe.
Ooh, good one.
Yeah, which is one of my favorite movies too. It's so well done. It's unbelievable.
My buddy is from Mansfield, where the prison is. Grew up there, and for a movie guy like me, being anywhere near that, like anything we've ever filmed here, I go back and go back and go back. And he's like, well, Mansfield prison wasn't a big deal. You grew up there. It wasn't roped off. It was just locked. You could walk right up to the wall. You could walk right up to the yard. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah. And they even brought like the tree, in say Wataneo. They brought it to Mansfield. I'm like, and that wasn't a big deal. Like, it was a big deal for like a week, but everybody's from there. They didn't care. I'm like, unbelievable. I go, that's one of my top 10 movies of all time. And he goes, do you have a favorite scene? And I'm like, I don't know if it's a scene, but like the one that like fucks you up is they're sitting against the wall and he's like, get busy living, get busy dying. I'm like, is there a more intense scene, that's not a gang rape scene? Like that's the one where you're like, Jesus Christ. And he's like, okay, noted. A month later, he comes back and he goes, and he hands me a paper. And it's like a screenshot of Tim Robbins, doing that speech. No. And he goes in and he circles a little piece of mortar between the bricks. And I go, what's that? He goes, this. And he hands me a piece of the prison.
That's
I go, I don't think you're allowed to do that. He's like, fuck it. You said you like it. I'm like, damn. So over on one of these shelves is a piece of Shawshank Prison.
That's so cool. I love the scene when they were on top of the roof. and he kind of got into it, and they said he was saying, but he wanted beers for the boys. And that's what I like. Probably my favorite thing, the whole thing. I just want a couple beers for my guys.
My coworkers.
Yeah, I think it was
Too cool. What's your favorite swear word?
fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck. My wife told me if I didn't say fuck and told people to fuck off, I'd have more friends. She literally told me that later. So I told her to fuck off. No. But no, fuck. I literally probably say fuck 100 times. And I catch myself. I'm around my mother and I say fuck, and I got to catch myself. I'm like, she just looks at me. She goes, like, stop. And I'm like, enough. Like, I'm constant. Fuck is the one, can be used in so many ways. Like, oh fuck, that's great, or fuck, fuck you. Like it's the one word that I'd probably use that more than the.
Nice. It's been the resounding leader in the favorite swear words, and I always go back to the Monty Python sketch about it, where they really tell you how it is the most versatile word in the English language of all time, any language.
100%.
If I say Pittsburgh, what do you think of?
Shockingly, unbelievable, surprisingly, how great a city it is, and that's the truth of the fact that when I got traded there, I thought it was just me growing up in Canada, I thought it was just a dirty steel town, and I didn't realize how big of a corporate town it was and how beautiful it was, and it's like a hidden gem. And I actually I had a conversation with Carl Dubas, the new president GM, and every other title he has with the Penguins, and I said, hey, I congratulated him, and then we've had some conversations since and stuff. And I said, how's it? He goes, it's unbelievable how great the people are, how great the city is. And Jason Spezza, the assistant GM, I just had a conversation like a week and a half ago. We were in Hilton Head together, and I said, like, how's Pittsburgh? And he goes, I'll tell you how great Pittsburgh is. He goes, my wife and my kids, we're going to move there in September. He goes, we went for a visit. My wife says, why don't we move here now? Because that's how great Pittsburgh is. It's I guess the word I should have used is underrated, hidden secret, because it is a phenomenal city. Phenomenal, like people wise, but more so everything that goes on in that city. People don't realize how lucky they are probably living in Pittsburgh. And I told people one time, I was still playing, and I said, do you realize a lot of people leave and come back? I go, that tells you what kind of city you have, because a lot of people leave and they end up moving back to Pittsburgh. They always want to.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
100%. They all come back, and that's a really good telling point of how great a city it is.
We did that. We moved to California. She had a temporary job, but we were looking as we're there, and we're like, yeah, but you're on the beach, but the prices, and then this and that. We're like, and they don't have made to order sandwiches at their gas stations. Like, what is wrong with this place?
But another tell, this is in the hockey world, is how big the alumni is in that city, because like St. Louis has a huge alumni that stayed after they played. Look at your alumni in Pittsburgh. It's freaking phenomenal. It's unbelievable how big the alumni of the amount of people that stayed in Pittsburgh after they stopped playing or moved there, even when they were retired from another city. They came back to Pittsburgh because and that's a telling tale by your hockey alumni who people around. Like, okay, look at any sport in Pittsburgh. There's a lot of guys still around town.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a perfect segue with this thing I'm going to try tonight too. Here we go. Let's see if this is working.
Keep it simple. How you doing, bud? Great show you guys got going. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Chris, I'm going to tell you something. If he was your first, this might be your last.
And while you guys are talking, I thought that was awesome for every aspect. I thought of a great story with Wendell, and I'd like to hear Wendell's rendition of it too. And this goes back to 1992 in New York, Madison Square Gardens, when you and I played that last game there.
So, Chris, do you know where we're going with
No,
this?
I'm just pretending I don't know anything. I just want you guys to have fun.
Okay, so Scotty Bowman was our coach, and we were in Madison Square Gardens late in the year. Second last game, maybe last game of the season. It didn't mean anything to us. Scotty Bowman comes in and says, okay, Regs, you're starting. And 5 minutes later, Wendell, and I go, what? He goes, you're switching every 5 minutes. And I go, Scotty, everyone thought you were fucked, but you just, you're fucked. Like, what's wrong with you? And he goes, that's what we're doing. So the guy started laughing at us and blah, blah, blah. And I go, you know what? Why don't you guys shut the fuck up? I said, seriously. I said, Regs and I are going to change on the fly. We're not waiting for a whistle. We're going to change on the fly. The guys go, they keep yapping in the room. I go, put some money up because we're doing it. A bunch of money came on the table. Go and take warm up, come back. Sure enough, the guys are, Scotty comes in. Remember, we're changing every 5 minutes. And the guys are yapping again. I go, you know what? Here's the deal. I said, Regs and I are going to not only change on the fly, we're going to high five and low five. And I'm going to moonwalk back to the crease. I don't know how to moonwalk, but I just threw that out. But and the guys were yapping again. I go, put more money up. If you guys want to see it, it's going to happen. And it actually worked out good because in Madison Square Gardens, the bench went really deep into the zone. You're almost at the hash marks, like halfway through the circle. It was so deep in that corner. So, of course, in the third period, here's Regs in goal. We get the puck. We're going up on a play. I think Joey Mullen was carrying the puck going up, and I jump on the ice. Regs doesn't even know I'm on the ice. We got too many men on the ice. I'm skating towards him, yelling, Regs, Regs, and, the rink's loud and stuff. And finally sees me, and he starts skating, and I'm skating. And I high-five him. I go to low-five him, and I look down the ice. Here comes Mark Messier with the puck. We turned it over or something, and here it comes. And Regs went and jumped in the bench, and I was in goal. So if you YouTube Reg at Young, change on the fly, you'll see Regs in goal. He's in goal. Puck goes out go up the ice, and when the puck comes back down with Messier with the puck, I'm in goal, not Regs.
Yeah.
So I wish they had the true like now these days with 50 cameras at a game. They didn't show us actually changing,
No.
but you can see that Regs is in goal first, and I'm in goal. But we made a bunch of money that night, and we didn't go. Next morning, we didn't have that money in our pockets. We took it to the bar.
We lost it. The box score was.
Yeah, we didn't make it, but it was like, and if you listen at the end of that little YouTube thing, because a couple people have brought it up to me, and it's actually when we did it, there was no real press about it. But the more, it's like anything, you get better as time goes on. I get people all the time talking to me about it. I don't know. There was nothing about it when we did it, but as time went on, it's got bigger and bigger and bigger, and people talk about it all the time. And but at the end of the broadcast, and whoever's broadcasting goes, "I knew they would have done that. I knew they were going to do that." It was so funny. We got walked like 7-2 or 8-2 or something. I think I let it 7, or I let it more.
That's the game. That's the game to try it at. Then I think, right?
It was, but you know what? It was so funny, and so many people laugh about it. And somebody will bring up like goalies have never changed it on the fly, and I'll just look over and go, "You better YouTube Kenny Reg, Wendell." Yeah, they're like, "Look, whatever." It's so funny, and it's so cool that we've been part of championships and stuff, but it's so funny to have that little funny thing. And like I started the broadcast, it's not so much like making a big save or anything. It's all those little stupid funny things, and this is one of the stupid funny things. And a lot of goalies were too uptight to do it, but Regs and I, that wasn't the way we played the game.
Too cool. Yeah, I knew there'd be something cool bringing you two on. Everybody's freaking out, by the way, seeing you guys on the same podcast right now.
Hey, listen, I'm bald. Look at the head of him, the hair on him. Seriously,
this is a curse right here. Don't be jealous. Especially in this type of weather, man. It's not fun at all.
All right, so we had Kenny bring one up. Do you have one more story, Wendell? While we're still here, do you have another one to add? Because the list of people here is blowing up and everybody's loving it. Do you have one more for us?
That's probably my favorite with me and Kenny. And like I said from the start, going out in the hallway, and he needed to have a dart all the time, and I'd be out there, and seriously, I felt like I smoked cigarettes all the time because I was around to get the secondhand smoke all the time. And it was all the time. We'd go out, and it was funny because it was we'd sit out there and we'd talk about what happened in the game and in that period, and we'd talk about different things, and sometimes it was how's things at home, and those between periods of a game, and Kenny can attest to this. Our team, some of the things that were said to each other in the dressing room, and before we're ready to go on the ice, you think everyone's going to be serious, and we were laughing our heads off, and things that were said on the bench and on the ice, but when it came time to play, and again, going back to how many Hall of Famers were on the team, when they decided to turn it up, they turned it up, and that's unbelievable. And like Kenny and I were fortunate to have we had in front of us. It was unbelievable. And Kenny, like, I shouldn't be friends with Kenny because Kenny actually came in and took my job and pushed me to the side. Actually, you know what? He just he didn't even think about me. He just pushed me to the side.
No, that's it.
That was
Wendell's,
like seriously. And then again, going back, one of my best teammates ever. Like seriously, just like we're all in it together and we support each other. That's the biggest thing. That's when you're a goalie, and Kenny knows this. You want support from around you, but you want more. You want it more from that whole friendship of playing with a guy that like supports you. And I knew, and Kenny was supporting me, and that's the way you want it.
Yeah. And Chris, that's one thing. You get a heck of a guy there on your show, Wendell, and coming in from Philly as well. And Wendell being in the, being a mentor to me from watching him the year before and helping, because all of a sudden I'm sitting there with Tommy and Wendell's been through there all year long, and he was kind of showing me the ropes. And if you want two more not superstitious guys around, you got he and I. We never had a lot of superstition type of thing, but we followed a lot of good paths and stuff, and we had a lot of good relationships that through the guys with the teams back then that helped us along. And Wendell helped me immensely coming and fitting in Pittsburgh and making it feel like home. And I'm still here now, so obviously he did a great job as well. So thank you, Wendell. I'm glad to be on your show here. Thank you.
Seriously, think about that. Kenny stayed, and that's what I love about the city of Pittsburgh and the way people are. And like honestly, it was a privilege playing there, and like having teammates like Kenny and everyone else that was on the team. But like, just think about, again, the alumni that have stayed there. That's how they're treated and how players are treated and respected. And and I know all the alumni try to give back to the community, but they have a lot to give back for what they've been given as players.
Yeah, and thanks for that perfect segue talking about guys staying in Pittsburgh. It was a layup. It was really simple for me to transition there.
Yeah, I'm trying to help you out here.
Well, cool. And I just want to tell everybody watching, go check out the Wolves, and also go hit up Kenny's place. Was there a name change, Ken?
We did. Yeah, we did. We're 31 Sports Bar and Grill. I wasn't keen on putting my name on it initially. We went through a lot of changes. It's been there 10 years there now, and it's Kenny Regas 31 type of thing. And we won some awards for our food, our restaurant, and catering as well. And we can't compete with the Chicago pizza. We don't have that on the menu yet, but we have a nice smoker menu. And we've done really well, and we've made it through COVID, and we've got a nice little following ourselves. And like Wendell said, we try to be part of the community. The community was such a big integral part of ourselves, myself in particular, personally, and we just try to give back. I got a great gal with me, Nicole, who runs the show, and making and giving back to the community is kind of what we want to do. And we're very fortunate to have this chance. And if you have a chance, stop by Kenny Regas 31 and Collier Township. Definitely.
I think you got a good name for it. Actually, you both do. You got a good name for the bar restaurant. Kenny Regas sounds good. You know what I mean? If it was Wendell Young's, it'd sound just as good. I mean, you guys got Wendell Young's
Kenny Regas
deep dish pizza. I like it.
Oh, we go with that one. And maybe we'll build a place right next to Kenny's.
We'd like that one. That'd be a good place.
I like to not put on 40 pounds. But yeah, okay. It's good enough. Yeah. Well, I appreciate it, guys. That's just too cool. I conceived it. I'm like, I hope it works. And I also had to make sure, I don't know, are you guys friendly? That's where the conversation started. Hell if I know. I'm like, this would be cool, but is it going to work? Is he going to go on there and hey, Wendell, you remember that fucking shift where you took, I didn't want any of that either. But this was too cool, man. The thread's going crazy, and I really appreciate both of you coming on. Ken, thanks for the surprise.
No problem. Thank you very much, Chris. Good to see you again. Wendell, talk to you along the way here. Take care, bud.
Okay, bud. I'll take care.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.